Every year, thousands of families eat meat they thought was safe, only to find out later it was recalled. Sometimes it's salmonella. Other times it's plastic or even hidden chemicals linked to cancer. And here's the shocker. Even at Costco, the brand millions trust most, some of the best-selling meats carry hidden risks you were never warned about. That's why today, we're exposing 6 Costco meats you should never buy. We'll break down the recalls, the additives, and the quiet health risks that could cost you far more than you saved in bulk. This is BizWorld Explorer, where we uncover the hidden truths behind everyday food brands. If you care about what goes on your plate, make sure to subscribe now, because today's list could change the way you shop at Costco forever. Kirkland Signature Rotisserie Chicken. The Kirkland Signature Rotisserie Chicken may be Costco's most famous item. It is sold for under $5, and for many shoppers, it feels like the best deal in the entire store. People line up for it, sometimes filling carts with 2 or 3 birds at a time. It has become a household staple. Dinner for busy families, quick protein for meal prep, and a ready-made solution when cooking feels like too much work. But hidden inside this bargain is something most shoppers never notice. The chicken is packed with sodium and phosphate additives. These are not added by accident. They are part of what makes the meat taste juicy and flavorful, and part of what allows Costco to keep it looking fresh. The problem is that the amounts are far higher than most people expect. A single serving of this rotisserie chicken can carry more sodium than a full home-cooked meal. And who eats just one serving? Families pull it apart, save leftovers for sandwiches, and snack on it straight from the fridge. That means the salt and phosphate intake adds up quickly. High sodium intake has been linked by the CDC to increased blood pressure, higher risk of heart disease, and greater strain on the body over time. Phosphate additives are also a concern. Research suggests that too much phosphate in the diet may stress the kidneys and contribute to bone weakness. For someone already dealing with heart or kidney issues, the risks become even more serious. Costco doesn't advertise these details on the rotisserie chicken's front label. Most people never flip it over to read the nutrition facts. They see the low price and trust the Kirkland name. That's how this chicken has become both a customer favorite and a hidden health trap at the same time. Would you still call it the best deal in the store if you knew the true cost to your health? There is a safer choice that gives you the same flavor without the additives. Costco also sells fresh whole chickens in its meat section. Roast one at home with herbs, garlic, or olive oil, and you can control exactly how much salt you add. You get the same juicy meat, the same family-sized portions, but without the hidden sodium and phosphate load that comes with the ready-made version. The rotisserie chicken may save time, but roasting your own bird at home saves something far more important: your long-term health. Oscar Mayer bacon. Oscar Mayer is a household name. For decades, its bacon has been a breakfast favorite in American kitchens. At Costco, shoppers buy it in large packs because the brand feels familiar, trusted, and reliable. Bulk bacon means more weekend breakfasts, more BLTs, and more ways to add flavor to everyday meals. It feels like a safe bet from a brand everyone knows. But behind the familiar yellow label is a problem many shoppers never consider. Like most store-bought bacon, Oscar Mayer's version contains nitrates and nitrites. These chemicals are used to keep the bacon pink, flavorful, and shelf-stable. On the surface, that sounds harmless, but research from the National Institutes of Health and the World Health Organization has raised red flags. When bacon is cooked at high heat, those additives can form compounds that have been linked to a higher risk of cancer. This does not mean a few strips of bacon once in a while will harm you. The risk builds over time. especially for people who eat bacon regularly. For families that make it every weekend, or for anyone who uses it as a daily topping or snack, the chemical intake becomes significant. And since Costco sells Oscar Mayer in bulk, it encourages more frequent use, not less. Another hidden issue is sodium. Bacon is naturally salty, but the curing process adds even more. For people watching their blood pressure or heart health, the sodium alone can be enough to raise concern. Combined with nitrates and nitrites, it turns what seems like a simple indulgence into something far less innocent. Would you still see it as a trusted family staple if you knew every strip carried that hidden risk? The safer swap is available right in Costco's coolers. The store sells bacon labeled as uncured, or no nitrates or nitrites added. These versions use natural preservatives, like celery powder, instead of synthetic chemicals. Another alternative is turkey bacon, which usually contains less fat and sodium. Both options give you the same crispy texture and smoky taste, but with fewer risks linked to long-term health. In the end, bacon may never be a health food, but choosing versions without added nitrates makes a meaningful difference. And that simple switch could help protect your family over time. What about you? Do you still buy Oscar Mayer bacon? Or would this make you switch to the nitrate-free version? Let me know in the comments. Kirkland ground beef, bulk pack. Kirkland ground beef is one of the most widely purchased items at Costco. Families buy the giant bulk packs to make burgers, tacos, spaghetti sauces, casseroles, and more. The price per pound is lower than at most grocery stores, and buying in bulk feels like a smart way to stretch a budget. For many shoppers, it's a freezer essential, but there is a hidden risk that comes with bulk ground beef. The USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service has issued multiple recalls over the years for ground beef contaminated with Salmonella and E. coli. These bacteria are especially concerning because they can cause severe food poisoning. Symptoms can hit within hours: nausea, stomach cramps, diarrhea, and in some cases, hospitalization. Outbreaks tied to ground beef have affected thousands of people nationwide. The danger comes from the way ground beef is made. When a whole cut of meat is contaminated, the bacteria usually stay on the surface. Cooking the outside thoroughly can kill it. But when meat is ground, the surface is mixed throughout the batch. That means bacteria can spread into every part of the package. One small contaminated piece can affect pounds and pounds of ground beef. And once it's packaged and shipped, that risk is passed on to shoppers. Costco's bulk packs make the risk even greater. Many families freeze the extra meat, assuming that freezing makes it safe. But freezing does not kill Salmonella or E. coli. It only pauses their growth. As soon as the meat is thawed, the bacteria can become active again. If the beef was contaminated before it hit your freezer, the risk is still there months later. This is why recalls on bulk ground beef are so serious. One recall can affect thousands of households at once, with families across the country eating from the same contaminated supply before anyone realizes there's a problem. By the time the recall notice reaches the news, much of the meat has already been consumed. Would you still see it as a money saver if you knew one pack could send your family to the hospital? The safer swap is to start with whole cuts of beef from Costco's butcher section, like chuck or sirloin, and grind them yourself at home. A small grinder or even a food processor can do the job quickly. When you grind your own beef, you know exactly what went into it, and the risk of contamination is far lower. The flavor is fresher, too, since you're not dealing with pre-packaged meat that may have been sitting for days. Buying in bulk can be smart, but only if it doesn't come with hidden dangers. With ground beef, a little extra effort at home can make a big difference in both safety and quality. Hebrew National Beef Franks. Hebrew National is one of the most famous hot dog brands in America. Their bright blue and yellow packaging has been trusted for generations, and many families consider it the premium choice when it comes to hot dogs. At Costco, the Franks are sold in bulk packs, making them an easy pick for barbecues, family gatherings, and weeknight dinners. The label proudly says 100% beef, which gives shoppers confidence that they're choosing a better option than cheaper mixed-meat hot dogs. But the label doesn't always tell the whole story. Hebrew National and other hot dog brands have been caught up in undeclared allergen recalls. This happens when an ingredient is present in the product but not listed on the packaging. Things like milk proteins, soy, or even gluten. For most people, this may sound like a small detail. But for anyone with food allergies, one hidden ingredient can trigger a serious, even life-threatening reaction. The USDA has reported that undeclared allergens are one of the top reasons for food recalls every single year. Mislabeling is another concern. Even though the package says all beef, hot dogs often include added fillers, flavorings, and preservatives that aren't highlighted on the front of the package. These extras are what help hot dogs last longer in the fridge, but they also mean you're eating more than just pure beef. Shoppers who believe they're buying a simple, clean product may actually be getting a mix of chemicals and additives they didn't expect. The concern is magnified by how often hot dogs are served to children. For many families, they're a quick lunch or a fun dinner, but kids are especially sensitive to sodium, preservatives, and allergens. What feels like a safe, familiar choice can carry hidden risks that parents never intended to put on the table. Would you still see it as a trusted classic if you knew the label might not be giving you the full picture? The safer swap is available right in the same Costco aisles. The store also carries brands like Applegate and Simple Truth, which are marketed as cleaner label hot dogs. These options are free from common allergens, made without added nitrates, and use fewer preservatives overall. They may cost a little more, but the ingredient lists are shorter and the risks are lower. At the end of the day, a hot dog may never be the healthiest food. But if you're going to serve them to your family, choosing a brand with fewer hidden risks is the smarter way to go. If this is eye-opening so far, pause for a second. Hit that subscribe button. We post daily alerts on hidden recalls and food risks, so you'll always know before it hits the news. Hillshire Farm Deli Turkey. Hillshire Farm is one of the biggest names in deli meat. Their turkey slices are sold across the country, and at Costco, they come in large packs that many families rely on for quick sandwiches and snacks. It feels like a healthier choice than bologna or salami, and the convenience of having it ready to eat right from the package makes it a popular buy. But behind that convenience is a serious risk. Both the CDC and the USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service have flagged sliced deli meats, including turkey, as one of the top foods linked to listeria contamination. Listeria is especially dangerous because it can grow in cold temperatures. Even when the meat is stored in the refrigerator, the bacteria can survive and multiply. For most healthy adults, listeria might cause food poisoning symptoms like nausea or diarrhea. But for certain groups, the risk is much greater. Pregnant women, newborn babies, older adults, and anyone with weakened immune systems face the highest danger. In these cases, listeria infections can become life-threatening. And the worst part is, you cannot see, smell, or taste the bacteria. A slice of turkey can look perfectly fine, but still be unsafe. Part of the problem is how deli meats are processed and shipped. Turkey slices are cooked, cooled, sliced, packaged, and transported through several facilities before they reach the store shelves. At every stage, they rely on what's called the cold chain, the system that keeps food at safe temperatures. If that chain breaks even once, bacteria can grow. A truck delay, a cooler malfunction, or even a package left out for too long during stocking can create conditions where listeria thrives. By the time it reaches your fridge, you have no way of knowing what happened along the way. Shelf life also plays a role. Deli meats are often packed with preservatives to help them last longer, but no chemical can fully eliminate the risk. Outbreaks in the past have proven that even sealed packages can carry listeria. That's why recalls of sliced turkey and other deli meats appear again and again in FSIS reports. Would you still call it the healthy choice if you knew it could hide bacteria strong enough to put entire families at risk? The safer swap is simple. Costco sells whole turkey breasts in the fresh meat section. Roasting one at home and slicing it yourself takes more time, but it gives you full control over freshness, storage, and ingredients. You avoid the preservatives, reduce the risk of contamination, and still get plenty of lean turkey for sandwiches throughout the week. For busy families, it may feel easier to grab the pre-sliced pack. But with something as serious as listeria, a little extra effort in the kitchen is a much safer trade-off. Johnsonville Italian Sausage. Johnsonville is one of the biggest sausage brands in America. Their Italian sausages are sold in nearly every major supermarket, and Costco carries them in bulk frozen packs. Families buy them because they are versatile. You can grill them, slice them into pasta, or cook them with peppers and onions. The brand is trusted, and the convenience of frozen sausage makes it an easy freezer staple. But even the most famous brands have had problems. Johnsonville has been linked to recalls where foreign materials, things like small pieces of hard plastic or bone, were found inside their sausage products. The USDA's Food Safety and Inspection Service issues recalls like this more often than people realize. It may sound rare, but when a product is made in large batches, even a small mistake in the processing line can end up in thousands of packages. Foreign objects in meat are more than just unpleasant. A small piece of bone or hard plastic can chip a tooth, cause choking, or even injure the digestive tract if swallowed. These are not risks people expect when they cook dinner, and yet they continue to show up in recall alerts. The problem is that most shoppers never see the recall notices, so they have no idea they might be serving something unsafe to their families. Another concern is the way frozen sausage is handled in bulk. Sausages that are ground, stuffed, and frozen in large facilities pass through complex machinery. Each step carries the chance of a slip-up. If a piece of equipment cracks or a fragment breaks loose, it can end up sealed inside the product. With smaller, fresh batches from a butcher, this risk is far lower because the process is simpler and easier to oversee. And here's the bigger picture. When you buy frozen sausage in bulk, you often don't cook it all at once. Families may thaw a few pieces at a time, stretching the pack over weeks or months. That means if a recall happens in the middle of that period, some of the sausages might already be eaten before you even hear about the problem. By then, it's too late. Would you still call it a trusted freezer staple if you knew every bite carried the chance of something sharp or hard being hidden inside? The safer swap is fresh Italian sausage links from Costco's butcher section. They may cost a little more than the frozen packs, but you gain peace of mind. Fresh sausage is made in smaller batches with fewer chances for foreign material to sneak in. You also get richer flavor, juicier texture, and the confidence of knowing you're starting with a product that hasn't been sitting in a freezer for months. When it comes to something as simple as sausage, that small change can make a big difference in both taste and safety. So, which Costco meat shocked you the most? Drop a comment below, and let's talk about it. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next BizWorld Explorer report. We've got plenty more hidden truths to share. Safer swaps and smarter shopping. Now that we've gone through each of these Costco meats, and uncovered their hidden risks, let's take a step back and look at the safer choices. The goal isn't to give up on meat altogether, it's to shop smarter, so you still enjoy the foods you love without carrying the same hidden dangers. Rotisserie chicken. Instead of the Kirkland ready-made bird loaded with sodium and phosphate additives, buy a fresh whole chicken from Costco's meat section. Roast it at home with herbs and olive oil, and you control exactly how much salt goes in. Oscar Mayer bacon. Instead of the bulk packs cured with nitrates and nitrites, look for Costco's no nitrate added bacon, or try turkey bacon. Both options deliver flavor without the same cancer-linked preservatives. Kirkland ground beef. Instead of giant packs of pre-ground beef that have been linked to salmonella and E. coli recalls, choose whole cuts like chuck or sirloin and grind them at home. It's fresher, safer, and you know exactly what you're eating. Hebrew National hot dogs. Instead of relying on labels that may hide allergens or additives, choose cleaner label brands like Applegate or Simple Truth, which are nitrate-free and made with simpler ingredients. Hillshire Farm deli turkey. Instead of pre-sliced packs that carry a listeria risk, buy a fresh turkey breast from Costco. Roast it yourself and slice it at home. You'll avoid preservatives and lower your risk of contamination. Johnsonville Italian sausage. Instead of frozen sausage that has been recalled for containing hard plastic or bone fragments, choose fresh Italian sausage links from Costco's butcher. They taste better and carry fewer risks. Smart shopping tips. When shopping at Costco, choose fresh butcher cuts instead of heavily processed meats. Fresh cuts are simpler, safer, and often taste better. If you're buying bacon, sausage, or deli products, look for low-sodium or no-nitrate versions. These swaps reduce the hidden risks linked to additives. Buying smaller packs can also help. It keeps meat fresher and lowers the chance of spoilage, especially if you don't plan to freeze everything right away. For ground beef, consider buying whole cuts like chuck or sirloin and grinding them at home. This simple step greatly reduces the risk of contamination. If you stock up in bulk, take a moment to check recall notices on the USDA FSIS website. It's an easy way to stay informed. And finally, always read the ingredient labels. The fewer additives listed, the safer and cleaner the product usually is. By following these simple tips, you can shop at Costco with confidence. You don't have to give up the savings or convenience. You just avoid the products most likely to carry hidden risks. Before we wrap up, buying in bulk does save money. That's why so many people trust Costco for their family shopping. But safety should always come first. A cheap price or a famous brand doesn't mean the product is always the best choice for your health. The truth is, recalls and hidden risks happen more often than most people realize. By knowing what to watch out for, you can avoid the worst offenders without giving up the foods you enjoy. Knowledge is power in the grocery aisle. The good news is that safer options are always there. Fresh cuts, cleaner labels, and a few smart swaps can give you the same meals with far fewer risks. Once you start reading labels, checking recalls, and choosing wisely, shopping feels less like a gamble and more like a choice you control. This isn't about fear, it's about confidence. When you know what to look for, you protect yourself and your family. And that's the real value, far greater than saving a few dollars on bulk packs. So, what shocked you most? Was it the rotisserie chicken loaded with hidden salt? Or the ground beef linked to nationwide recalls? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your story. And don't leave without subscribing. One click means you'll never miss another hidden food danger. Stay safe, stay informed, and join us next time as we uncover more truths the big brands would rather you didn't know.